I think Stephen owes me a beer after that. Good to see you. Good. So up next is Montage Gold Corp. Rick Clark, back up to West Africa, back into the Côte d'Ivoire. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Andrew. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again at the Precious Metals Summit. I think I've been to just about all of them in different guises. I'm here today as the CEO of Montage Gold Corp, and very pleased to be speaking to you today. I'm going to jump around a lot on the presentation. The presentation's on our website, and I encourage you to go to our website and have a look at it. Forward-looking statements, we'll scream through. I think the important thing that I want to get across today is where has Montage come from and where are we going? Montage is effectively a spin-out of a company called Orca Gold. And Orca Gold was created by Lucas Lundin and myself many years ago after we sold Redback Mining to Kinross. And we created Orca to continue looking for projects in Africa. We started off in Northeast Africa, and we were looking in Sudan. We were very successful. It took us 10 years, and eventually discovered what is a significant mine, and we sold that mine a year and a half ago to Perseus out of Australia. Montage Gold, the main asset in Montage is a project called Koné. And Koné was discovered when we were all running Redback in about 2008, 2009. And Hugh Stewart, who was at the time head of exploration, we were looking for another place to go after Tasiast and after Toronto. And Hugh said we need to go to Côte d'Ivoire, and specifically this area where a number of regional structures basically came together. So we staked the ground, and that became Koné. We did a first program, and then we sold Redback to Kinross. And we tried to get Koné spun out of that transaction, and Kinross completely refused, given the price they paid us. And then it took us a number of years to convince them to sell it back to us. We eventually got Koné back. We put it into Orca, and then proceeded along to do more work and drilling, and reached a point where we realized we were onto something significant. At that point, we then spun out the Koné project into a company called Montage. Orca was the majority shareholder, and then we dealt with Orca solely with the Sudanese asset. And after selling that, we've now been running Montage, and we've come a long, long way. So where we are today is we have about a year or so ago, we produced a definitive feasibility study on the Koné deposit. It was significant. You'll see some of the numbers as we go through this, but I can tell you if I was still running Redback, I would have built Koné as it sat. It's a low-grade ore body, but it's probably one of the simplest mines I've ever come across. But the market being what the market is, everybody loves grade, and we had an opportunity to acquire an adjacent property to the north that was owned by Barrick and Endeavour. And we then spent the next few years negotiating with them to acquire that project. It's called the Mankono joint venture, and we were successful in acquiring Mankono, and then proceeded to see if we could increase what we saw there from our due diligence, which was the reason that we wanted to buy it. Anyway, that's the sort of foreshadowing of what's happening here, and I'll bring you up to speed as we go through. The management team of Montage is expanding. I can tell you that as of very recently, we've made some additions, and we're bringing back the Redback management and operating team. We're going to go forward, and we're going to look to build the Koné and the Bongogo projects, and it's sort of one last hurrah. Some of us have come out of retirement, but and everybody was bored with retirement anyway, and we love what we do. We've got the ability to do this, we've got the track record, and we've got the financial connections, and we also have what we think is one of the best projects in Africa today. Our share registry is pretty impressive. As a result of the Orca transaction, Perseus ended up with what's now 17%, 18% of Montage. The Lundin Group has close to 10. It's actually quite a bit larger than that. What you're looking at with those numbers are actually just the Lundin trusts. There's various members of the Lundin Group personally that are also major shareholders of Montage, including myself. Sandstorm Endeavour received its stock from the transaction we did to buy the Mankono joint venture, as did Barrick. So this is Koné. And as I said, we have gone from a very modest land position with just the Kone project to now over 2,200 square kilometers of ground, and we have been systematically working that with preliminary exploration. But our main focus has been on the Bongogo main deposit, which only had 11 drill holes in it, and our objective was to turn what we saw as an inferred resource into an indicated resource, which we have successfully done, and we just put out the new resource last week. Kone as it stands, as I said, we did a definitive feasibility study. These are the numbers. As I said, they were impressive in their own right, and if I still was calling the shots at a very large mining company, I would have built it as is. And the real way to think of Kone, I think, is more as a quarry or a sand and gravel deposit or a porphyry gold deposit. You're going to hear about a lot of different types of gold deposits. You've seen them before. But what stands or makes Kone stand apart, as well as Bongogo, is that the resource at Kone is one wireframe. The resource at Bongogo is two wireframes. So there's virtually very little strip, no real reconciliation. The ore body is extremely wide, the mineralization is extremely wide. We basically come in here with very large equipment and we take everything. So it's an earth-moving exercise, which means it's very low costs on a per ton basis. And I think you're going to see, when we come out with the definitive feasibility study by the end of the year, it'll be one of the lowest cost producers in this part of the world. So this is Bongogo Main. What we've successfully have done is we've now developed a indicated resource of about 560,000 ounces of 1.5 grams. And what's significant about that is the Kone deposit's approximately 0.7 grams. And so we've effectively doubled the grade here. The resource program also increased the grade in itself at Bongogo, which was an added plus. And we're now incorporating this resource into the feasibility work. We already have a pretty good idea of how it's all going to look, but we'll deliver the study before Christmas. And I think everybody's going to be incredibly impressed with the economics of Kone/Bongogo. What's unique, as soon as the rainy season's finished, we have a lot more exploration to do. We've done enough to convert the inferred into indicated. But what we discovered was there's some very, very high grade and very wide veins in the ore body. We do not have enough pierce points in them to properly include them in the resource in terms of the grade. So we're going to go back, and Hugh's going to do a lot more drilling on these, and we expect a significant uptick in the overall grade of Bongogo going forward from that program. But to give you an idea, we're seeing widths of 20 meters of 15 grams on some of these very, very large veins. Exploration-wise, as I said, it's a very large land position. We did a major preliminary exploration program. We've made lots of different discoveries, and we'll be systematically following up on those. We're prioritizing them. The objective here is what's going to happen with Bongogo is 35 kilometers away from the Kone plant. We will be doing a dedicated haul road. We will be basically trucking in 60-ton trucks. And the idea is with this haul road, as we discover more ore up in these projects in these areas, we will include it in the mine plan as we go forward. To this stage, the only deposit that we've looked at in any detail is Bongogo. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of grade, and we just need to be able to give Hugh some more money to turn them loose again. This is the shear zone that we're going to be targeting. We think it's incredibly prolific. As I told you, it's a confluence of a number of very large regional structures with lots of different mines on them, going all the way north of Côte d'Ivoire, to Mali and Burkina Faso. And so we've got a lot more generative exploration to do as well on this shear structure. So the priority target for us right now is a discovery called Yare North. We'll be going back in that. Very, very high grade intercepts. Again, it's only got a couple of holes into it. We've proven it up with duplicating a discovery hole, but we now need to go and do a big program on it. So the purpose of this is to show you that there's a lot more upside to this land package than just Bongogo that we'll be incorporating into the current or the new feasibility study. So the idea here is, obviously, as everybody in this conference will tell you, it's a horrible market, particularly on retail. We're in an enviable position that we can now look to finance and construct this mine. We have the track record, we have the people, and we're very encouraged by the interest we're getting on the debt side. And so, whereas the last company that we dealt with, Orca, we sold it. We didn't put it into production. Part of the reason for that is that needed cash flow, which we didn't have. We were a single asset company in Orca. But with Koné and Bangogo and being in Côte d'Ivoire, it's a much different jurisdiction. It's West Africa, which we have a lot of experience in building mines. We built Chirano in Ghana. We upgraded it. We made a huge discovery underground. We went on to Mauritania. We built Tasiast. We expanded Tasiast, all with the team that is going to come together to do this project. So we're very excited about it. Over the next, between now and Christmas, as I said, we're concentrating on delivering the feasibility study. We've initiated discussions on project finance. We are well underway in permitting. We expect to be fully permitted by the end of Q2 next year on the project, and we are looking to be fully funded certainly by Q3 next year, and we expect to start construction of Koné and Bangogo next year. It's a big, big project. It'll be the biggest one in Côte d'Ivoire. It'll be one of the biggest ones in West Africa. The economics are stunning, and I look forward to sharing them with you. I've got a little bit of time for questions. Ralph.
Okay. Actually, the Bangogo asset, that's really, you're talking about 60-ton trucks, so that's really going to be there more for grade blending and enhancement at Kono?
What's going to happen,
tell me that.
Ralph, is that...
Sorry, Rick, if you don't mind just repeating the question.
Oh, sorry.
For those online.
What Ralph's asking is on the 60-ton trucks, how are we dealing with this? Are we blending? Are we... Primarily, what we're going to do is we're going to mine Bangogo at 3 million tons a year. The Koné plant is 11 million tons. 8 million tons will come from Koné, 3 million from Bangogo. In that first 3 or 4 years, we'll produce approximately 350,000 ounces, which will cover the payback period for the financing. After that, we'll obviously, if we do not find one other high-grade ounce, we'll go back to the Koné ounces for the balance of the mine life. We don't expect that'll be the case. We think this is going to be a very long and very productive mine. Any other questions? Well, look, I encourage you to go to the website. We're going to be generating regular news. We've opened an office in Toronto, which is where we're going to center the corporate development and the financing side of the company. We're also expanding our office in Abidjan. And one of the key hires I've just done is a gentleman by the name of Mike Robinson. Mike worked with us as head of maintenance in Toronto, and then I promoted him to be general manager of Tasiast, and he was country manager of Mauritania. Mike's coming out of retirement to be country manager of Côte d'Ivoire, and he'll oversee the development from Côte d'Ivoire of the project. So, as I said, we're going full speed ahead, and I look forward to reporting regularly. Thanks
Rick,
very much.
thank you very much, and welcome back.